Regarding Watson's standing with the organization, Barry was non-committal.
Our focus with Deshaun, I would say for any player with a season-ending injury and a major injury is first and foremost with the recovery and to make sure that he gets healthy from the Achilles injury. Everything else we'll deal with at a later moment.
The Browns still owe Watson $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons, and his cap hits are immense. College basketball. Rutgers star freshman Ace Bailey out tonight against Wagner with an injury suffered at practice Monday. He's a contender to be the top overall pick in June's NBA draft. Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown out a 3rd straight game against the Warriors tonight because of a hip flexor strain. 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. That's followed by the 76ers at the Clippers. NHL, Oilers captain Connor McDavid back from an ankle injury against Vegas tonight. That injury kept him out the last 3 games.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. I've been bullish on the Texans, but I'll tell you why I lost to the Lions will have me rethinking just how high their ceiling is. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Is Mickey Loomis gaslighting us?
Hump day.
Like, is he the smart one?
It's hump day.
Or are we the smart one?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Are we crazy?
Hump day.
Or is he crazy?
It's hump day.
He got me thinking I'm crazy.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I think he gaslighting me.
Hump day.
Mickey Loomis.
It's hump day.
Gotta talk about that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hurricane Rafael.
Hump day.
He got.
It's hump day.
Muse, it is actually Raphael. Yeah.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I mean, I figured it was, yeah.
Got the pronunciation guide.
Hump day.
I never argued vehemently that it wasn't Raphael.
It's hump day.
Only merely stated that we needed a confirmation that it was not Rafael.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Which a listener got me.
Hump day.
Because Muse didn't.
It's hump day.
Had me out here calling him Rafael all day yesterday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
None of that, no. I didn't have you do anything.
Good help.
Hump day.
Hard to find.
It's hump day.
Taylor Calandro later this hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You really cracked yourself up, huh?
Hump day.
Oh, man. Woo. Why are we talking to the Falcons guy next hour? I like Orlando Ledbetter from AJC. Good vibes, good energy guy.
It's hump day.
But nobody cares.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Least interesting Saints-Falcons game of the last 20 years.
Hump day.
Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
It's hump day.
All right, let's go. Lot to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay. So the New Orleans Saints fire Dennis Allen. By now you know. They trade Marshawn Lattimore. I've celebrated both as evidence that this organization is moving in the right direction. It's an acknowledgement in firing Dennis Allen and trading Marshawn Lattimore. It is an acknowledgement that what you were doing was not working and you needed to fundamentally pivot the organization, right? I always say actions speak louder than words. These words, however, got me a little curious. Mickey Loomis, the longtime general manager of the New Orleans Saints, who has been with the organization for 24 years and has been the general manager now for 22 years, had the Saints coaches radio show. And this was the first time Loomis, because he's a coward and ducked the media, has talked about the firing of Dennis Allen. And I'll be damned. That man is still defending Dennis Allen. Listen to this.
Dennis Allen, I think, is a fantastic football coach. And I think anybody in our league who would talk about him thinks he's a fantastic football coach. He is. I think in this case, look, the circumstances, created the record. That's just the truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. I mean, we get silly things written like the players aren't parking in the right spots. I mean, that's ridiculous. And to equate that with discipline is silly too. But it just gets right back to, what stares at you right in the face is that we've had an abnormal amount of injuries, including to our quarterback, and we haven't been able to overcome that. And so that puts pressure and stress on the organization. And ultimately it was cause for, a change.
Defiant till the end. He is so pot committed. It's actually kind of impressive. Like how committed he is. Despite every shred of evidence showing you are dead wrong, but boy, he is anchored down, baby. I'm kind of wondering, is Mickey Loomis gaslighting us? He's got me sitting here wondering, is Dennis Allen actually a good coach? Are we all wrong? I mean, did you hear what he said about play that again? Just play from the beginning again. Listen to the part about the record again. Listen to all of it, but play that again.
I think is a fantastic football coach. And I think anybody in our league who would talk about him thinks he's a fantastic football coach. He is. I think in this case, look, the circumstances, created the record. That's just the truth.
Pause it. The circumstances created the record? Muse, did I hear that right, or am I being gaslighted? Did he say the circumstances created the record?
That is what he said, yes.
So he means this year?
This year.
Oh, the circumstances created the record this year?
2024, yes.
What about 4-12 in Oakland in 2012? What about 4-12 in Oakland in 2013? What about 0-4 and then getting fired in Oakland in 2014? Circumstances or bad coach? What about 7-10 his first year in New Orleans? Circumstances, all the injuries, everything like that? I guess probably circumstances. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Circumstances. 9-8 last season, finished strong, had one win. Actually, none of your wins down the stretch, 4 of the last 5 were against a team with a winning record. And you did get wins against Tommy Cutlets, and who was the other guy?
Tyson Bagent.
That's him from Chicago. Yeah. You didn't have to play. You didn't have to play Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Nope.
You got to play Josh Dobbs, who had been there for 4 days, and he still beat you. Right. Then you're 2-7 right now. Circumstances created the record, right?
Circumstances created the record.
So Dennis Allen's 26-53 in his career. Let me say that again slowly for those in the back who didn't hear it. Dennis Allen's 26-53 in his career. His time in New Orleans, 18-25. That's a career winning percentage of .329, the third worst in NFL history among coaches that have coached at least 75 games. You want me to say that again slowly in case you missed it? In the history of the NFL, among coaches that coached at least 75 games, only 2 men ever have had a worse winning percentage than Dennis Allen. But what did he say that was? Circumstances created the record? Is that what he said?
Look, the circumstances, created the record.
Oh, got it. That's a lot of bad circumstances. I'll tell you what. Over all them games in his career, 79 career games as a head coach, a lot of bad circumstances for Dennis Allen. And didn't he say the injuries are part of the record? Is that something? Can I hear that part again? Did he say the injuries were part of the record? Play that again. Pick it up from right there where it was. Yeah.
I think in this case, look, the circumstances, created the record. That's just the truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. I mean, we get silly things written like the players aren't parking in the right spots. I mean, that's ridiculous. And to equate that with discipline is silly too. But it just gets right back to, what stares at you right in the face is that we've had an abnormal amount of injuries. Including to our quarterback, and we haven't been able to overcome that. And so
injuries to puts pressure. Injuries to the quarterback. So, Muse, I heard that right. He's injuries to the quarterback. We weren't able to overcome that.
That's what he said.
Okay. Did Derek Carr's injury allow 277 rushing yards to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
It did not.
Did Derek Carr, Eric McCoy, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, did they allow 225 rush yards to the Denver Broncos?
They did not.
Did Derek Carr's injury lose you the game to Carolina? Oh, wait. Derek Carr played against Carolina.
He did.
And so did Chris Olave until he got hurt, and so did Lucas Patrick, and so did all of the guys that were injured that were all back. Taysom Hill, you had Alvin Kamara there as well, right? And you were on the road against the worst team in the NFL, which was the worst team in the NFL. Now you're the worst team in the NFL as a touchdown favorite. And did Derek Carr's injury allow Bryce Young a fourth-quarter game-winning touchdown drive against the New Orleans Saints, and the defense coached by whom?
The defense was coached by Dennis Allen, and it did not.
The guy with the bad circumstances?
That's the guy.
Got it. So it wasn't Derek Carr's injury that caused Bryce Young to go hit the game-winning touchdown drive to win it? I'll be damned. But he told me, he just told me it was an abnormal amount of injuries and the circumstances caused the record, didn't he?
That's what he said, yes.
Can I hear that again? Yeah?
Look, the circumstances, created the record.
I'll be damned. Circumstances created the record. Y'all, Mickey Loomis is using up every last bit of goodwill. Smacking his gum in that press conference where he's preaching to all of us about Chuck Noll and Tom Landry and Bill Belichick, trying to compare Dennis Allen to them with the slow start being good coaches. I told y'all when he said good organizations look beyond the results, I said they were going to put that on his tombstone. Now, I don't mean literally like when the man dies, leaves this earth. I mean when they write the obituary of his career in New Orleans, they will put that on his figurative tombstone. The good organizations look beyond the results line that he used. Because that's absolutely absurd. And I want that line forever. And now, after reports come out that it was Gail Benson that pushed the firing, which is very clear that it was Gail Benson that led this, because Mickey Loomis is still defiant and still defending Dennis Allen in spite of everything. Let me ask you this question. Mickey, I'm not letting you gaslight me, brother. Would other organizations retain their general manager after he hires a previously failed head coach, and said head coach proceeds to go 18-25 over 2+ seasons, and a 7-game losing streak the first time that's happened in the organization in a quarter century? That general manager who oversaw the worst cap situation in the NFL, that general manager who wasted $150 million on a C- quarterback trying to purport that he could be a star after you had 9 years of evidence that suggests everything to the contrary. The same general manager that drafted Peyton Turner, Trevor Penning, Isaiah Foskey, Kendre Miller, Nick Saldiveri. Should we mention the entire 2020 draft? Do you remember that one? A 4-person draft class. Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bond, Adam Troutman, Tommy Stevens. Can't imagine why they suck. What other general manager with that resume keeps their job? You can only live on the laurels of the past for so long. New England gave Bill Belichick a lot of rope because he won 7 Super Bowls, and ultimately they had to go in a different direction. New Orleans is almost there. They fired Dennis Allen. They're getting rid of this cockamamie scheme of restructuring contracts and kicking the can down the road. They're finally looking to the future. The last piece is Mickey Loomis. He's had a good run. It's time. In the face of everything I just said, you are still defiant. It is time. Because clearly everyone else, you know that Laurel Yanny thing? Remember that a few years back? When was that, like 2016? Did you hear Laurel or Yanny? You know what I mean? Which one did you hear, by the way?
Yanny.
Yeah, I heard Laurel. Anyway, it's like the whole world hears Laurel, and Loomis is right there with Muse hearing Yanny. It's like, we're not all stupid. Like, you're not the only smart. It's not that the masses are all dumb and you're the singular person with all the answers. I got a mountain of evidence that proves you don't know what the hell you're doing and haven't for a while. Loomis got to go too. He's next. Do the right thing, Gale. Do the right thing and blow him out. It is time. Complete and total reset. He's got to be part of it. Get him out. I mean, you freaking kid. I mean, you defiant till the end. To the bitter end. Oh, my God. All right. It's after further review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Hey, huge weekend. LSU-Bama. Parish County Line. Of course, Bud Light sponsors Parish County Line. The band, they'll be playing at Burbank Walk-Ons on Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. And then Saturday, the Bud Light Fan Fest, or the Bud Light Fan Zone, I should say, right in front of the PMAC, between the PMAC and Tiger Stadium. Make sure you get out there. They'll have live music. Our buddy Hunt Palmer will be on the LSU Sports Radio Network pregame show, along with Marlon Favorite, Brandon Taylor, of course, all that in the Bud Light Fan Zone. If you're going to be on campus this weekend for LSU and Bama, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light in the purple and gold LSU aluminum cans or bottles. Drink easy with the official beer, the LSU Tigers, Bud Light. All right, I got a quick break. Speaking of, Brian Kelly, Kalen DeBoer on the SEC Coaches Teleconference updated their team's progress this week. We'll get into it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all were counting down to Thanksgiving. Not too early to start thinking about Thanksgiving dinner. And if you're already thinking about Thanksgiving dinner, you got to be thinking about Rouse's, because Rouse's is taking care of your turkey. Get this. You can get your Butterball Thanksgiving turkey for free at Rouse's. All you got to do, buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for just $2.99 a pound, and you will get a Butterball Grade A frozen turkey up to 14 pounds for free. That's right. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham, get a free Butterball Grade A frozen turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. Why would you go anywhere other than Rouse's? The official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, with locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. Remember, limit one per customer, though $25 in-store purchase. Visit Rouse's.com for details. Rouse's, this feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this game lives up to the hype every single year, so I think it's a big game for us. And yeah, it's time to create another memory, for sure.
Mason Taylor, biggest memory of his career. Did it as a freshman against Alabama, the 2-point conversion, the last time these two teams met in Tiger Stadium. Of course, what a call. In overtime, LSU beats Alabama 32-31 that night in Tiger Stadium on the 2-point conversion. And see if the Tigers can go create another memory. The big difference, obviously, is that this will be the first time since 2006 that Nick Saban won't be a part of this game on the field. Now, he'll be there with College Game Day. My understanding is Nick Saban will be in the building. He'll stay for the game. And I understand there might be some other dignitaries. Bill Belichick is likely to be in Tiger Stadium as well on Saturday night. So, but not having Saban on the sideline creates a massively different dynamic around this football game for every reason, both the aura, the impression of the game, the personality and feel of the game, and then also just not having his football acumen and experience on the sideline for Alabama. And Brian Kelly was asked on the SEC Coaches Teleconference what it's going to be like coaching against Bama without Nick Saban.
You know, I think in some instances, you know, this football team still resembles the building blocks of Coach Saban. It is Coach DeBoer's team, and it will continue to take on his personality and his direction. But a lot of the work, obviously, in terms of building the foundation is still there. There's a great culture, and Kalen took over a program that was in great shape. So a lot of the underpinnings are still there. I think he still has an office there, right? You know, so there's still that sense that there's a man behind, you know, the curtain, if you will. And I don't want to take anything away from Coach DeBoer because it's his team, but you do sense a little bit of Nick there. So it'll be different, but not to a point where you don't feel like there's still influences from Coach Saban.
I think influences is a good way to put it. The other thing that I would tell you is I remember this conversation that I had with my buddy Ryan Fowler from Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa. Had this conversation with Ryan over at SEC Media Days, and the way he kind of described just the whole mood, the vibe, the feeling around Tuscaloosa and the Alabama football program was that it was sort of this, it was just a lighter mood. Like there was just sort of, people felt like they could breathe as they moved around football operations. And he talked about how DeBoer is so much better and more accessible with the media and all these different things that were different. But it was at that moment that I knew my feeling on Alabama, my impression of what was going to happen with Alabama post Nick Saban was spot on. Because, look, man, if you're going to try to tell me that something's better because it's easier, I'm not going to buy that. The reason Nick is the best ever in the history of this sport, not one of the best, unequivocally the best coach ever. Won national titles at 2 different schools and won titles in the most transformative era of college football. Scholarship limits. Signing day, signing class hard cap at 25. NIL. Transfer portal, the college football playoff, then now the 12-team playoff. He went through all of it. And no matter how much the system changed, the rules changed, the format changed, everything, he continued to be the best ever. And the reason is because of his maniacal attention to detail. And all of a sudden, when you start to tell me that things around Tuscaloosa, around football ops at Alabama are just easier, people are moving more freely, that's because the teachers left the classroom. Oh, there's a lot of the same students in the classroom, but the teacher ain't there anymore. And everybody's held to a different standard when the teacher's in the classroom. You all know it. It's like when you were in school and the principal would come in and sit in the back of the room. You know what I'm talking about? Man, maybe you were a little loose. When the principal came and sat in the back of the classroom, everybody sat up straight. You were paying attention front and center. You had your pen out. You're taking notes. Just different. And the principal left. And now you got Kalen DeBoer, who's a good teacher. But he ain't that guy. Nobody is. So Kalen DeBoer now will coach against LSU for the first time. And look, I can talk about all the intangibles, but I think most of you probably agree with me. It's just different when Nick Saban's at the front of the room and when Kalen DeBoer or literally anyone else is at the front of the room. It's not a knock on Kalen DeBoer. That would be the reality with literally anybody that took that job. And I think that is going to have an impact on Saturday. Brian Kelly is a more experienced head football coach than Kalen DeBoer. And you can talk all about DeBoer being in the playoff last year. Brian Kelly played for a national championship in the BCS era at Notre Dame and made the college football playoff twice, the 14 playoff twice. Like, they are equally, in that respect, Brian Kelly is more accomplished than Kalen DeBoer. But you're going to look at on-field and how these two teams and these two coaching staffs strategize this game. Now, Kalen DeBoer was asked on the SEC Coaches Teleconference about both quarterbacks and the impact they may have. First, here was Kalen DeBoer on LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier.
He can make all the throws. It just feels like he's got really a great handle on the offense. He's got a confidence in the skill around him, which is elite. Just playmaking ability. You got big tight ends and athleticism there. You got, some running backs that can do different things for you. So, you got an offensive line that, gives him the time. And so, you just feel like he's back there. And when he's comfortable, it's been really tough for teams to keep him under wraps. So just a really good player all around. Can't say enough good things about what you see on the film.
By the way, this will be Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, Garrett Nussmeier, Mason Taylor, Kyron Lacey, CJ Daniels, Aaron Anderson, Caden Durham, Xavion Thomas, Tradez Green. This is going to be that offense against Kane Womack. Not Nick Saban. That ain't Nick spending 2 weeks getting ready. It's Kane Womack. And with respect, I'm sure he's a good coach. He ain't Nick Saban. I watched Vandy hang 40 on that defense. Now, the other part of this, so I don't have any doubt that LSU is going to move. This ain't going to be one of the things like 2018 where LSU got shut out on their home field, or 2016. It ain't going to be like that. This is the worst rush defense LSU's faced all year. Oh, it's Alabama. Like, they're going to have the helmets and the jerseys and all the same thing. They're going to play Yay Alabama and all that sort of stuff. But this ain't them. This is a team without Nick Saban, with a lesser coaching staff, and that turned over 40 players from last year's team. Like, Caleb Downs ain't playing in that game. Very different team. You already faced Trey Amos. He don't play for Alabama anymore. Like, you got a very, very different team. Kool-Aid McKinstry plays for the Saints. Dallas Turner plays for the Minnesota Vikings. Very, very different team than what you faced a year ago. You're going to move the ball, and you're going to score points. The question is, can you stop Jalen Milroe from doing what he did to you a year ago, which was running for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns? And Kalen DeBoer expects LSU to have a plan.
They'll have some time to prepare, know who we have back there. So yeah, I expect them to be dialed in on another level from what they were against Texas A&M. We're kind of got surprised with the quarterback change. So they got athletes and they got good coaches and have been coached up well against the opponents. So we got to still keep doing what we do and just mix it up and change it up, little tweaks like we would any other game plan.
Now, Savion Jones is going to be a big part of stopping that. And one of the things that's been interesting when talking to people about LSU and how they approached that zone read game is the ends would just crash down. And against Texas A&M, when Marcel Reed went into the game and the ends were crashing down, Reed just pulled it and ran. And he even said after the game, well, they just kept going after the running back, so I just kept pulling it. They didn't really change. Suffice to say that's going to be a little different. But here's Savion Jones on defending against Jalen Milroe.
I feel like it's extremely important because we all know that he got good legs on him. He quick to get out the pocket, but we can't rush scared of his abilities to run the ball. We can't let his legs hinder our ability to pass rush. So it's just, making smart rush moves, knowing what kind of rushes we could do during what kind of plays. So
Kalen DeBoer wants Jalen Milroe to be Michael Penix. You watch Alabama play, they'll run him, but Kalen DeBoer wants Jalen Milroe out of the shotgun, 3-step drop, straight drop, stand in the pocket, read a defense, and throw the football. That ain't what Jalen Milroe does great. LSU pressures him, but they can keep him in the pocket and not get hurt with 30-yard scrambles. Yeah, I think this defense has a really good chance of limiting Alabama Saturday in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Y'all, we are getting closer to Christmas. Holiday season almost upon us. Remember, a beautiful diamond from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry is always an amazing gift. Maybe that engagement ring. Maybe you're looking at a beautiful tennis bracelet. Maybe a watch, pendant, necklace. So many options. Gorgeous gifts from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Sure to thrill her. Make sure that red box is under the Christmas tree this season from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, it's After Further Review. We'll now get a quick break. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. And the LSU men's basketball team tips off their season tonight. A quick footnote on that as the Tigers begin year 3 of the Matt McMahon era tonight out at the PMAC. It's AFR.
AFR.
Let me remind you about Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Y'all get on by and see our friends over at Clegg's. Night game on Saturday for LSU and Alabama. So you got time Saturday earlier in the day if you want to get by Clegg's Nursery. You want to go check out those fall bedding plants, maybe one of their fruit trees. Remember, they got Johnny Naylor seeds as well. So if you're thinking about planting that fall vegetable garden, getting those seeds in the ground, they got them over at Clegg's Nursery. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you all the time to buy local and shop local. And one of the great things, man, you get into fall, and Clegg still has all these beautiful fall bedding plants arriving daily. I mean, you want to add this gorgeous pop of color to your flower beds, your patio pots for this time of year with these beautiful flowers that thrive with a little bit of cooler weather. Now's the time to get on by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Jerry and Benny Payne
began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
How about Kim Mulkey? Absolutely in fuego. Landed another 5-star. This is crazy. It's the second this week. Her name is Grace Knox. She's a 5-star out of Rancho Cucamonga, California, or, as they say in Next Friday, which is objectively a better movie than Friday, Rancho Chochamonga. Grace Knox from Rancho Cucamonga, California, and she picked the LSU Tigers and Kim Mulkey. So now LSU has 3 of the top, let's see, Zakiya Johnson committed Sunday. So in the last 3 days, that's 2 top 15 players in the country. She's 6'2", she's a small forward, picked LSU over Tennessee, Texas, Southern Cal. Incredible. That's also 4 top 25 players in the country for this coming class. Oh, I mean, if you thought the Natty 2 years ago, the Elite 8 run last year, just a flash in the pan because you had Angel Reese out of the transfer portal, man, I mean, Kim Mulkey's just getting started. Grace Knox, second 5-star commit in 72 hours for Kim Mulkey. My goodness. All right, it's After Further Review. The men's team tips off tonight. We'll give you a thumbnail preview of that in just a second. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Hey, tomorrow's the day, y'all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to go to Supper Club. Normally, T-Bob and I have scone and tea on Thursday nights, but a little bit of a conflict, so we recorded scone and tea, so we won't be at curbside tomorrow. So when I get off air, I'm going to head over to Supper Club. I've been dying to try that prime rib special I've been telling you about. 21-day, dry-aged, bone-in, tomahawk ribeye, sliced and served tableside, prime rib, Thursdays only at Supper Club. If prime rib ain't your thing, they got the Thursday wine feature. They got the stone crabs, which are in. It's seasonal. They just got in a couple of weeks ago. If you still haven't been to Supper Club to try those new menu items, you can always get by. But remember, Thursday, 1 day only, the Thursday special is prime rib at Supper Club. If you're interested, go check it out. I'll be there tomorrow after the show. Get your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, we'll get to Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro coming up here in a bit. Right now, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Quarterback Taylon Green and running back Jaquindon Jackson still banged up following the loss to Ole Miss, but no game on Saturday, so got some time to recover. Sam Pittman said neither would play this weekend if Arkansas had a game, but their status for next week up in the air. Green dealing with a knee sprain. Jackson has an ankle injury.
The Auburn Tigers.
Hugh Freeze admits he's debating trying another quarterback here. He's got sixth-year senior Peyton Thorne. They ride it out. Saw earlier this year they went with Hank Brown, and Freeze admitted Thorne hasn't been a complete hindrance on the offense, but they were really bad against Vanderbilt. Auburn scored just 7 points, and so they're thinking about another quarterback change heading into next week.
The Texas Longhorns.
Texas reserve running back Velton Garner out for the rest of the season. Steve Sarkisian confirmed the news. Garner has been out on that availability report. He's the SMU transfer, remember, transferred during the summer to provide depth after the Longhorns lost 2 running backs in fall camp. Now that's 3 running backs Texas has lost this year.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer had some unfortunate news on defensive tackle DeAndre Jules. Missed the last 3 games after he was injured against Ole Miss. Had been a key reserve. Beamer said it's unlikely Jules will play this Saturday against Vanderbilt. They're not sure when they'll get him back. Nick Barrett's been one of the players counted on in Jules' absence. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. It is a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Always a great spot to get on by and watch your football any night of the week. Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Also, tonight, the LSU basketball season opener. So, of course, you can get by the Maravich Center tonight. Go by watch LSU and ULM. If you want to get some wings before you go, you can do that at Pluckers right there on Nicholson. It's just south of the PMAC. So get some wings and go to the Maravich Center or go to the game and then hang out at Pluckers afterwards. Matt McMahon held a press conference on Tuesday to preview the season, talked about what he's hoping to see from his team out of the season opener here tonight.
We want to win. We want our guys to continue to get better every day. I thought the exhibition was a good start. I like the unselfishness. I thought in the first half of the game we were really disruptive defensively as far as forcing turnovers and forcing tough contested shots. So want to see more of the same there. I think a big question mark for me as I look to the game is going to be the rebounding. I think Monroe's got great size, 6'11", 250. They're physical at the 4 position. Also the guards. They rebound well at the guard position. So I think the glass will be an area I'm paying very close attention to tomorrow.
Tomorrow, of course, will be tonight with LSU opening up against ULM, coming down from Monroe to Baton Rouge for this season opener. Here was another little thumbnail from Matt McMahon on ULM.
I think Monroe, when you look at them, they had the opportunity to play last night, had a convincing win, great size and physicality in their front court. Their 4 bigs had 14 offensive rebounds between them. They've got good size on the perimeter as well. Jacob Wilson from Liberty right here in town. Also Bolden is from Zachary. So a lot of ties to the area. I thought they played exceptionally well last night, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to play.
Year 3 of the Matt McMahon era begins tonight at the Maravich Center. I am going to be curious. I think this is a team that's certainly capable of being a tournament team. Should hear their name called on Selection Sunday. The one giant hindrance is the SEC this year appears as deep as it's been in. I'd have to put pen to paper to figure it out, but this LSU team that I think is capable of being a tournament team in the preseason was projected to finish 14th out of 16 teams in the league. Now, I think they are woefully underrating this LSU basketball team. But how Matt McMahon can get a lot of these transfers play together, but half of your roster, more than half of your roster turned over, is the challenge he has. But it starts tonight with ULM. Again, at the PMAC, 7 o'clock. You'll hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. If you can be in the PMAC, get in that number. And check out Pluckers before or after the game right there on Nicholson, just south of campus. Okay, Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro. Get your booze questions in. It's next, AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. If you are hiring, you're a business owner, you're struggling to find the people to make you more efficient, you need Glow Resources. Maybe you've used a third-party firm in the past. Well, have a conversation with Glow Resources to understand why they're different. They're not just going to send you resumes to send you resumes. They're going to operate on your timeline, and they're going to use their wide net of connectivity in all these different industries across the country to find qualified people for the jobs that you're looking to fill. They're so confident in their ability. By the way, they've got a 96% success rate. That if they don't, whoever they hire for your business, like if they don't work out, they'll give you a prorated refund, or they'll find another candidate for you for free. What do you have to lose? It's Glow Resources. Check them out online, GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number 1, get your booze questions in. You can ask Taylor anything about anything. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Hey, I had a buddy offer to trade me Weller 12 for a Stag, formerly Stag Jr., not just Stag. What do you think about that trade?
Well, knowing your taste buds, wait, were you giving up a Weller 12?
Well, what do you think?
I didn't hear what you said. Are you giving it up?
No, well, what do you think? I mean, of course not.
Well, your taste bud, yeah. I mean,
no,
with your taste.
Yeah, Weller 12 is my jam.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do it.
No. I'm getting a Weller 12. I'm giving him a Stag for a Weller 12.
Well, with your what I'm saying, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Who's doing what?
Of course.
With your taste buds, I would do that trade.
Yeah.
So.
It feels very even.
Yeah, it's close. They're both just about as hard to get. So, yeah, one's barrel proof and one's not. I mean, they're vastly different. So, I mean, but your style is not necessarily the style of Stag. So
I know, but I'll tell you, man, George T. Stag, it continues to impress. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's ultra premium, and they know what they're doing with that one.
No doubt. Hey, what do you? What's new?
Speaking of ultra premium, we do have a sort of an ultra premium bourbon that used to be hard to get a while ago. It's kind of unfamiliar. It's kind of nerdy. Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's kind of a lesser known brand amongst the masses, but the whiskey guys know what it is.
Mm-hmm. I have a bottle of it. It's a small bottle too.
Well, it's got a long neck, but yeah, it's squatty sort of. I actually love the bottle and the design of the label. It looks really old school, and that's the kind of style bottle I like. I've tried the cigar blend. It's been several years, but this was one of the very early on batches. It was fantastic. It's very rich from what I remember, and I don't know if it's changed a lot since then. It's just really rich whiskey. It's $200. And we have the straight bourbon from them too. I haven't had the straight bourbon, but I've had the cigar blend. And I really like the cigar blend, but it's pricey. It's got older whiskey in there too. And we got some Basil Hayden subtle smoke, which is $50. Not my style. Really light, but it is a good whiskey if you're trying to get into Scotch, in my opinion.
Let's get some questions. You can always email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400, or you can jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat. We're talking about Weller 12. Of course, the Wellers are wheated bourbons. And Scott asked, please ask Taylor what he thinks about the Old Elk wheated bourbon.
I love the wheated bourbon. I love the wheat whiskey, which is 100% wheat. But the wheated bourbon is probably my favorite release from Old Elk. We've done some single barrel wheated bourbon picks that were just phenomenal. So yeah, I love it.
The straight wheat whiskey or the wheated bourbon, you can't go wrong. I think Old Elk is awesome with both of them. They've done just a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, Old Elk's done really, really good. They've done everything just about as right as you can do it. So.
Yeah, they're Greg Metz is the master distiller. Do you want to tell the story about Old Elk? Because I know it's becoming increasingly popular. And I always say that, our Luis Gonzalez, who's their CEO, is actually a Baton Rouge guy, lives in Colorado now and runs that company.
Yeah, they're based out of Fort Collins. I can't remember what's there, which college, if it's Colorado State or
Colorado State.
Colorado
State.
I get Fort Collins is the other one. What did I say?
No, Fort Collins is where it is, yeah.
And Boulder's the other one.
Yeah, Boulder's where CU is.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're based out of Fort Collins. Greg Metz is the master distiller. He was one of the master distillers at MGP in Indiana for like 30-plus years. So he's got great lineage as far as distilling. And MGP is one of the biggest producers of liquid in the world. Yeah. And so the guy that owns Old Elk owns Otterbox, the cell phone company. He wanted to do whiskey, and Luis was actually selling Otterboxes, and now he's the CEO of a whiskey company. So
he's crushing it too, man. They're doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Trey said, Bourbon Dictionary, Taylor, I'm starting a bourbon collection. What are 3 bourbons I must have on my shelf? Pricing, small to medium.
Sazerac or Willet Rye. I would probably say just Sazerac Rye. Something really like a, if you want a higher end, like Elijah Craig barrel proof, a good barrel proof whiskey, and maybe something in the middle. Maybe something like a Basil Hayden Subtle Smoke.
Rob Neely, friend bought Booker's Uncut Unfiltered Small Batch. Is it good?
One of my favorite whiskeys. Yeah, almost every release I love. So yeah, it's just a good, full flavored, barrel proof whiskey. It's not a lot of bells and whistles, just a great whiskey. It's one of my favorites.
Let's see if I can get maybe one more, and we got to talk about the raffle as well. Chris said, I'm looking at a Bourbon Trail trip next spring. What are the best resources to plan that trip? Good question.
Well, I'm not a great person to ask that because my resources are totally different than the general public when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. I do know of a good tour company, Mint Julep Tours. Check those guys out. They do private transportation everywhere, and I think they do tours, set up like private tours and stuff like that. That's who we use for transportation and stuff, but I think they do tours too. They're great people. Mint Julep Tours.
He is Taylor Calandro. Let's remind people about the raffle.
Raffle is December 12th. Not a whole lot of details yet. We'll start selling tickets about a week before, but just stay tuned to socials. We will start posting stuff in the next couple weeks, I'm sure.
The original charity whiskey raffle they do over at Calandro's. It's gotten bigger and bigger every year. It's awesome, and they raise money for great causes. So we'll tell you more as we get closer. December 12th. Mark the date. Plan to see you over at Calandro's on Perkins. All right, thanks, dude.
All right, Matt. See you.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine and carry out. Dine and carry out delivery? I guess if you go punch up Uber Eats or DoorDash, you can get it delivered. And you get trivia every Wednesday. All right, I got a quick break. We'll head to Atlanta about 20 minutes, start to preview the Dirty Birds. Could Joe Brady be the next Saints coach? We'll get to that in hour 3. Ton to do. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com with locations all over the country, more than 30 locations across a dozen different states, literally from sea to shining sea, from Florida all the way to California and Oregon and points in between. It's 6 different calibration labs in the state of Louisiana alone. So if you're a Louisiana business with precision measurement devices that you need calibrated, Michelli can take care of it. They can come to you, pick up your devices, bring it back, calibrate it, return to you. You can ship it to them if you want, or if you need on-site calibration because your equipment can't leave your facility, you don't want it to leave your facility, well, they can come calibrate on site. They have mobile calibration labs. You can learn more. I always encourage you to go to the website at Michelli.com, Michelli, Michelli.com. You can hit the services tab right there on the homepage, and it'll list everything that they do at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online at Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. No Jaylen Brown for the Celtics tonight versus the Warriors in the opener of the NBA doubleheader, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN. The Stars shooting guard out a third straight game because of a hip flexor strain. That game will be followed by 76ers and Clippers. NFL Bengals receiver T. Higgins doubtful tomorrow night for that AFC North showdown against Baltimore because of a quad injury. Pivotal game for 4-5 Cincinnati, 2.5 out of the division lead and 9th currently in the AFC. ESPN NFL reporter Kimberly A. Martin.
Must win. The rest of their games are must win. This is playoff football for the Cincinnati Bengals because, as we all know, they start off slow in September. Every year that Joe Burrow has been in the NFL, they start off slow. But his record in November, December, January, that's when he shines.
Panthers will start quarterback Bryce Young Sunday morning against the Giants in Germany. It'll be his third straight start. College basketball, Rutgers freshman Ace Bailey out tonight against Wagner with an undisclosed injury. NHL, Oilers captain Connor McDavid back from an ankle injury tonight against the Golden Knights.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. I've been bullish on the Texans, but I'll tell you why I lost to the Lions will have me rethinking just how high their ceiling is. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muse. And Mr. Toby Tom play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Our buddy D. Orlando Ledbetter join us in about 15 minutes from over in the ATL. Saints and the Dirty Birds. Atlanta kind of soaring right now while the Saints are floundering. They fired Dennis Allen. You get a bit of an interim bump. We'll start to take a look at Atlanta. Remember the last time these two teams played, the Saints didn't allow an offensive touchdown but still lost. Muffed a punt, which led to a touchdown. There was a defensive score. Younghoe Koo at the game winner as time expired. One of the inexplicable losses for the New Orleans Saints. That was before the Derek Carr injury still. But we'll see if the Saints can maybe get back on the straight and narrow here with Atlanta coming in. We'll head to Atlanta here in just a little bit. And Darren Rizzi met with reporters just a bit ago as well. So we'll kind of keep you posted on what the Saints interim coach had to say as he met with reporters today for the first time since being named the interim head coach. I guess after his first practice, I should say, since being named interim head coach. This weekend's going to be interesting with LSU and Alabama. We all know what's on the line from a college football playoff perspective. Whoever loses, you get saddled with your third loss. For all intents and purposes, your season is over. And I shouldn't say your season is over, but your playoff hopes are over. One of the things that is kind of burdened LSU, certainly, is the season opening loss to Southern Cal. If you haven't seen the latest, USC is 4-5 on the year. And according to multiple reports, Jaden Mayava, the UNLV transfer, is going to start against Nebraska next weekend. USC has a bye this week, and then they play Nebraska in Week 11. Miller Moss has been the starting quarterback for the first 9 games. They're 4-5. Moss won the starting job to start the season. It's not typical that here in Baton Rouge we'd be talking about a 4-5 USC football team making a quarterback change in November, but it is relevant because this is a team that LSU played early in the season opener, lost to. So with every loss for Southern Cal, that continues to look like a bad loss for LSU. So you would love to see if Southern Cal could kind of get it going a little bit offensively and find a way maybe to turn this thing around for USC. It would make the loss look better and better for LSU. But as for the Trojans, when you look at what they have remaining, we mentioned they'll play Nebraska, then they have their game against UCLA that's at the Rose Bowl, and then they finish the regular season against Notre Dame with that traditional rivalry game they have. They're certainly capable of beating Nebraska. And I'd say they're capable of beating UCLA, who's just 3-5 on the season and 2-4 in conference. So, SC, with a win the next 2 weeks, gets to bowl eligibility before they play Notre Dame, a game they'll likely lose and maybe finish 6-6. But you want to see Southern Cal win to make that loss look as good as it possibly can for LSU. But, man, as you look back on how the season's transpired, what if the Tigers had managed, even all else equal, if the Tigers had managed to finish that one against USC with a lead in the fourth quarter, with 2 possessions in the fourth quarter with the lead and chance to build your lead to a 2-possession game, couldn't get it done, you fall, and now look at what that loss potentially could cost you. But something that we will keep an eye on as we move throughout. You all know the college football playoff selection committee did their thing last night. I'm not going to talk about the rankings. I didn't even know until this morning where LSU was. They're 15th, if you care. It doesn't matter one iota. Like I said yesterday, and say every year at this time, it's irrelevant. You have 4 more weeks of football. The committee is doing nothing but a television show. And it's to their own detriment because when they put out these rankings, all it does is open up the door and the opportunity for criticism because of their own inconsistency. When they have rankings done a certain way, and then the head of the committee goes and explains it, and then a week later, they'll put out more rankings, updated rankings. The head of the committee answers. There's going to be contradictions. It's just the way that happens. So they only open themselves up to criticism. It's a stupid thing to do rankings right now, so I don't even really care. But Mac Brown is interesting. Mac Brown's a guy that was. Do you have this audio from Mac Brown? Is a guy that won a national championship at Texas, is now in his second go-round at North Carolina. We know he'd been at Tulane prior as well. I mean, this is a guy who's over 30-plus years as a head coach in college football, has had has had an exceptional run in some places, but obviously fallen on hard times and just a different era right now. But he had some thoughts about the parity in college football. This is a credit to Sirius XM College Sports Radio. But this is Mac Brown on the parity we're seeing right now in college football.
I used to think we were the NFL because there's no more amateurism. We're really not. We're pro baseball because whoever's got the most money can buy the best players. So that has to be taken care of, number one, in my estimation. But number two, transfer portal, you never know who you're playing against. So the preseason rankings are out the door because we don't even know who we're playing against. So the media sure doesn't know who's going to pop up, especially if you get the right quarterback and he stays healthy, because this is a quarterback-driven game more than ever before. And then thirdly, there's more distractions for these coaches and players than ever before. Social media is a buzz. They want somebody fired after every game. I mean, it's not, and everybody that loses, they want them fired. And then they usually have a buyout that's too big to fire them, so they just want to be miserable. And then the second thing is the players have agents. Agents are talking to them about transferring every week. There's third parties more involved now than ever before. There's distractions for parents. You've got NIL distractions. I'm not making enough money. What are you going to pay me to stay? I'm going to threaten to leave if you don't give me more money. And then you've got social media where people are talking about players being better than they probably are on certain weekends and then go to that from there to they should be cut off the team because they're awful the next weekend. So along with all the distractions that you two and I had with a girlfriend, with school, with parents, with life, these young people have so many more distractions. I think that's why we're seeing such inconsistent play on the weekends.
I think it's a lot to consider from a guy that has done a lot in his career. The one thing I'd push back is where he says it's not the NFL, it's professional baseball because whoever has the most money can win. And then he obviously went into his issues with NIL and portal. But the reality is it's always been that way in college football. Whoever has the most money wins. It's always been a haves versus have-nots. Now, where the money and the resources are allocated has shifted, but that hasn't meant anything with respect to what teams are competitive. I mean, it always was who could build the biggest facilities, who had the best recruiting budget, who had the most money to pay the best coaches, the best support staff, etc. It's always been that. It's been who has the most resources. It's Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama and LSU and Georgia and Southern Cal. I mean, just you know the list of teams. The NIL era hasn't made Texas Tech a contender. There are teams with resources that play at a different level now. SMU, I think, is a great example of that. I mean, they bought their way into a power league, and they'll be relevant. I don't think I'm going to see the day where SMU is competing for a national championship. Could, but I don't think I'll see that day. And there have been teams that have had the opportunity because of the transfer portal to build a roster that has allowed them to compete. Florida State last year was a great example of that. But it's also harder to sustain. You know, part of me understands Mac Brown's plight. But I'm going to tell you again what I've told you all along when it comes to NIL and the portal. What you just heard is the voice of a desperate coach who has tremendous pressure because he hasn't figured out how to win in this culture and climate. Those are the people most inconvenienced. And I'm not sympathetic toward millionaire coaches for being inconvenienced about how to build their roster. I do think we'll get to a day where NIL normalizes. I think revenue sharing will take care of a lot of that, where NIL will become more true NIL and revenue sharing will sort of level things off. Not eliminate it completely, but it'll make it easier. And I also think the appetite from boosters to spend will go away. Look at Ole Miss this year. They just spent a pile of money because they saw their opportunity. And that's going to be a team that doesn't get into the playoffs. Do you think Ole Miss boosters are going to be super eager to go throw a pile of money onto the heap again next year? Probably not. Now, if you win, sure. But if you don't, look at Florida State right now. You think they're going to be super eager to go throw a pile of money onto the roster for next year? Probably not. So I think like everything else in life, the larger the sample size grows, things will move more to the mean. But what I think also is going to be an unavoidable consequence is some old guard coaches like Nick Saban, like Mac Brown, are going to see themselves out of the sport. All right, it's after further review. Let's go to Atlanta next. D. Orlando Ledbetter, AJC will be here to talk some Falcons. It's AFR.
After further review.
I got this 5-star Google review from my guy Derek Duplessis over at Duplessis Builders, and I want to share it with you because it has nothing to do with building a pool. On the morning of Hurricane Francine in Prairieville, we woke, like many families, down tree branches and trees across the property. My daughter and her family lived next door. We were facing the same scenario. We just gathered the family to help. Chainsaws, much-needed blessing in the form of Duplessis Builders work crew drove up, saw the cleanup job we faced, immediately gathered more chainsaws, heavy equipment, jumped right in, and took over the operation. This was very unexpected. We were so glad they showed up. I apologized. I didn't get any of the names of the 8 to 10-man crew, but they worked so hard and so fast, I didn't even have time to talk much to them. When they were done, we offered money for what they did. They refused every bit of it. They were out on their own just to be good Samaritans to help as much as they can. One of them told me they had at least 3 more properties they were going to clean after hours. They sent before and after pictures, by the way. This indicates the good people doing work at your home. Thank you, Duplessis Builders. That's who you're calling, duplessisbuilders.net.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Who dat say they're gonna beat them Saints? Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
The Orlando Ledbetter covers the Falcons for the AJC, has for many years. He's been always generous and gracious with his time here with us. He joins us now. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
It's our pleasure. Let me get an outside perspective on the Saints' decision to fire Dennis Allen. I obviously covered the division for a long time. What do you think about the move?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a stunner that they wouldn't let it go out. A lot of things went bad this year for him. The injuries, losing a game up here where the offense didn't score a touchdown. Probably was trying to make a change.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Darren Rizzi?
Special teams coordinator. Started his career up in the New England area. Head coach at New Haven and Rhode Island. Spent a lot of time with the Dolphins before coming to the Saints. Well-respected special teams coach in the National Football League.
It'll be an interesting thing to see if the Saints maybe get that sort of interim bump, but they got to face a hot team coming in. The Falcons have won 2 in a row. They've won 5 of their last 6. How different is the Atlanta team coming to the Dome Sunday than the one that the Saints saw in Atlanta back in Week 4?
Yeah, they kind of put some stuff together since that game. The passing attack has been the big thing. They've been able to sling the ball around pretty good. 509 yards in that very next game against Tampa Bay, and they haven't stopped since. They are sixth in the league in passing and are actually protecting the quarterback for the first time in quite a while.
How are they able to get it together?
Yeah, the interior of that line kind of firmed up. They give McGarry a little help. A lot of people came in looking for the run, and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, and they've been able to play action off of that. And that's helped out the offensive line also.
D. Orlando Ledbetter is with us, covers the Falcons for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'll get him on Twitter or X at DOrlandoAJC. What about Kirk Cousins? Is his progress this year getting healthier? Is it familiarity with the offense? What do you see?
Yeah, getting healthier is one. He's coming back to Achilles. The pass blocking has been, helpful. And, being able to move it around to different guys. He started with Ray McLeod, then was leading on Drake London, then kind of Darnell Mooney, and then came Pitts. Pitts was the last one to start getting involved. And now he's able to move it around to, either one or either four of the targets that he likes, depending on the route concepts and how the defense is trying to take one of the other guys away.
Is there anything offensively that Atlanta would like to see more of or see that team do better?
Yeah, our running would be better. They're 18th in the league in rushing. That's their calling card coming into the season. Teams have been trying to take that away, but if they can get their running game into a higher gear, that would certainly help them out here in the second half of the season.
Of course, Raheem Morris is a defensive coach, and that's been just a massive problem there in Atlanta in recent years. How much has that defense improved here in year one under Morris?
A great deal, because the numbers don't look like they've done a great job of anything, but they have kept down the explosive plays, getting safety Justin Simmons to come over and help with Jesse Bates. They've been able to, keep a lot of yards off and a lot of points off, and then getting a timely turnover here and there. They haven't stopped the run very well, and they haven't rushed the passer at all, only 9 sacks in the league. But they have slowed people down a little bit, and that's been their calling card this year.
How do you anticipate Atlanta maybe defensively trying to attack the Saints? I mean, especially where you've had issues with the offensive line. You got a quarterback coming off an injury. Still got some you're down a few guys. Obviously, your top 2 guys at receiver. What do you think the approach would be for Atlanta on Sunday?
Well, I think it'll be to, follow Kamara around. He's the last man standing. Account for Tyson Hill when he's on the field, because he's been a Falcon killer for about a decade now. And, if you could just load it up and run it with him, that could be a way to travel for the Saints. I don't know the backup wide receivers, but I'm sure they're not on the same level as Rashid and Olave. So the Falcons are going to be okay outside, they believe. But, Kamara can get loose on you. Tyson Hill can get loose. And you don't want Derek Carr to get a hot hand, so you probably want to attack that line as well.
Yeah, the game in Atlanta just fundamentally changed in the second half when Taysom Hill went out. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to go for 4 quarters, what it may look like. Atlanta's, after Tampa lost on Monday Night Football in Kansas City, Atlanta's now got a 2-game lead in the division. This would be massive, obviously, as a divisional game and just to continue to widen that gap. When you look at this team at 6-3 here at the halfway point of the season, have you done any math, the Orlando, to see about where you think Atlanta might need to fall to sew up this division with a 2-game lead right now at the halfway point?
Yeah, we looked at it. They're going to be favored in 6 of these 9 games. So 6 would get them, at least 5 of them, at least 5. So we'll give them 5 because that was before last week. So if you get the 5 more wins, then you're sitting at 11-6, and that should do it. That should win the South for you. If you win the game, you're going to be favored in here down the stretch.
Is this team a legitimate NFC contender?
No, I don't think so. Not with that defense. That defense ranked pretty low. You want to see both units in the top 10 to be considered title contender. They look like that team like the Giants or the Vikings that got into the playoffs with 12 wins, or even like Dallas last year, got in there at 12 and then played a good team and Green Bay ran them out the stadium. So they got a lot of improving to do if they're going to be a bona fide title contender and a bona fide playoff team.
Saints Falcons in the Dome Sunday at noon. I don't know, man. This one may feel like the least anticipated Saints Falcons game in like 20 years, given what's going on with the New Orleans Saints firing their coach midstream. But we'll see how it may go. D'Orlando, appreciate the time as always, man. Thanks for jumping aboard with us.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me.
That's our pleasure. Y'all get him on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. Orlando Ledbetter there. Daryl does a great job. Covering the Falcons for a long time at the AJC. You'll get him on Twitter or X there. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. If you're thinking about a refractive procedure, go see our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. I'll keep repeating the story. I know there's a lot of people who maybe have thought about LASIK in the past, and you were told you're not a great candidate for LASIK. Remember, there's a new procedure called EVO-ICL. EVO-ICL. It's the implantable contact lens. This is a great alternative to LASIK. With LASIK, they're changing the shape of your eye. With EVO-ICL, they're implanting a contact lens, and it is reversible. So it's one of those things where maybe, like if you wear contacts, this is something that you can do to where you don't have to worry about shoving a contact lens into your eye every single day. Just go for the free consultation. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson. Feel what it can be like to wake up every morning and just see. Not have to worry about glasses or contacts. Call 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Raheem Morris did meet with reporters. Of course, Raheem Morris, he's a former Bucs coach, then the Falcons interim coach, now the Falcons permanent coach, who the Saints saw back in Week 4 when Young Waku hit that 58-yarder to beat the Saints 26-24 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And now, instead of Dennis Allen, it'll be Darren Rizzi on the other sideline. Here was Raheem Morris about facing an interim coach.
No, you just increase the urgency in the whole building in the Saints organization. They're playing for their livelihood. They're playing for jobs. Honestly, like for us, that's real life and real life experiences. For that building, is real life and real life experiences, and those guys are going through it. So, our team knows that the increased urgency for us to go out there and win, right? Not necessarily them, but for us as well. And the attention that we have to put to these guys because of the stuff that you're talking about, being able to take over a new program or being able to start over and instill some different things. But, when a coach gets fired, the urgency in the building is certainly increased from the ownership all the way down and throughout the organization.
It was also asked if facing an interim coach. And by the way, when we talk about the interim bump, isn't that kind of what it's talking about? Like when the coach gets fired, like boom, everyone's put on alert. Like nobody's job is safe. So yeah, you're going to have some new energy, some new focus, attention to detail. So it's also now a little bit of a different approach. So how does preparing for a team with an interim head coach change?
You will change some of the things that you were doing, obviously to make some differences in what you want to do. And then obviously, Rizzi's going to have a way he envisioned running a schedule. I'm sure he's been preparing to be a head coach for a long time. I'm sure he has a bunch of different ideas for his amount of time that he's been in this league. He's a well-respected coordinator in this league. He's a well-respected coach in this league. He's been doing it for such a long time for a bunch of different people. I'm sure those things he took from Sean Payton that he liked. I'm sure those things he took from Dennis that he liked. And I'm sure he's been gathering a bunch of information, waiting for these type of moments. Now, you never want it to happen in this form or fashion, but when they do, you apply those things to see if your thoughts can come to life. And I'm sure he's going to put some of those things together. And like when you do those things, a lot of those things come with your increase in your philosophy and your demeanor and how you want to do it. You don't change everything because, the person you're working for obviously had a lot of respect for, particularly in my case. So I'm sure he'll do a lot of the same stuff.
I mean, that's a guy who knows. Remember, he was the interim head coach in Atlanta at one point. So now back as the full-time head coach. Be interesting paradigm to seeing what it'll look like with someone else on the sideline for the Saints. The Falcons are streaking at 6-3. Got a 2-game lead in the division. The Saints are 2-6. Kind of playing out the string here in the second half, but still feeling like there's a lot to learn and improve about the franchise as it moves forward. All right. It's After Further Review. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Trivia every Wednesday, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Got LSU basketball tonight. Remember, if you're heading out to the Maravich Center at all this year for men's or women's basketball, stop into Pluckers just south of the PMAC. Go eat before or after the game. Great opportunity at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Okay, quick break. We'll come back and do some Pluckers trivia, as we always do. We get Tigers in the pros. Could Joe Brady be on the Saints wish list? There's one odds maker that has Joe Brady as the favorite to be the Saints' next head coach. I want to talk about that in about 30 minutes from right now. Russ Mitchell next hour. God, we got a ton to do. Stay here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or on social media at getgordon. You can go see all the cool NIL videos that they put out. Did a really good one today with Josh Williams, LSU running back, the former walk-on, the number 18 jersey honoree, one of the LSU captains, sixth-year player, and now a member of the G team as well. So if you want to learn more about the G team, you want to see some of those great videos, some of the content around those players to get to know the athletes on your favorite teams, you could do it over at any of the social media handles. It's at GetGordon on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Just go to at GetGordon, and you can see all of their G-Team content right there, the latest video that's up right now with Josh Williams. And as we always say, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. The comments about Mickey Loomis's comments that we started with are kind of renewing my faith that I'm not being gaslighted. Muse, can you play Mickey Loomis again from the Saints Hour show on Tuesday night?
You want the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right.
For people who haven't heard it, yeah, here it is.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, here we go.
Dennis Allen, I think, is a fantastic football coach. And I think anybody in our league who would talk about him thinks he's a fantastic football coach. He is. I think in this case, look, the circumstances, created the record. That's just the truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. I mean, we get silly things written like the players aren't parking in the right spots. I mean, that's ridiculous. And to equate that with discipline is silly too. But it just gets right back to, what stares at you right in the face is that we've had an abnormal amount of injuries, including to our quarterback, and we haven't been able to overcome that. And so that puts pressure and stress on the organization. And ultimately it was cause for, a change.
Lane Boudreaux said, am I just dumb? But aren't all wins and losses the result of circumstance? It's actually maybe a bit of a semantic argument, but yes, actually. Tybers Hertz said, DA must have nudes of Mickey. Why would he have...
I don't even want to go down that road.
Greg Lehman, he is a fantastic DC, just not a good head coach. I've never argued to the contrary. But if you are talking about a win-loss record, you are directly attributing that win-loss record to the head coach, and that's what Mickey Loomis is saying. Again, Adrian said he is a fantastic coach, just not a head coach. I agree. Fantastic defensive coordinator. Except, doesn't this season buck the trend of that idea that he's a fantastic defensive coordinator when you are quite literally the worst defense in the NFL? I mean, there are, last I checked, 32 teams in the NFL, and your New Orleans Saints are 32nd in total defense. So if what you're trying to hang your hat on is this dude's a great defensive coordinator, which he has been throughout his career, he is not that right now. I mean, that is objective fact. And then Robert said, how can we hear your show in New Orleans now that 100.3 is no longer ESPN radio? Thank you, Robert.
Ask Mickey Loomis.
Mickey's glad we're not on in New Orleans anymore. Thank God. So for those who aren't aware, our New Orleans affiliate, KLRZ, they sold the station, 100.3 FM, the new, to a group out of Atlanta, incidentally, the new group flip formats. So we are and have been actively seeking a new affiliate. We knew that this sale was in the process for some time, so we are working on it. In the meantime, you can stream us at 1045ESPN.com. You can download the 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app where you can stream us for free. You can watch us on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can listen to the show on podcast. Just go to your favorite podcast app, search After Further Review. Tons of ways that you can get us. We're on 98.1 HD2, so the 98.1 FM signal. If you've got in your vehicle, you have an HD radio, just go to 98.1 FM, hit HD2, and then there we are in 100,000. I mean, that's a great way to listen. So anyway, lots of ways you can get us, but we are working on a New Orleans affiliate. Hope to have something announced really, really soon. Okay, let's do a little Pluckers trivia. Muse, hit it.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia, every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Blue Bonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
Well, Muse, yesterday was a big day for the country.
Yes, it was.
Why?
Maction return.
Yep. You know why else?
We elected a president. Really a former president.
Yeah. College football playoff selection committee rankings came out, Muse.
That doesn't matter.
Massive day.
No, that doesn't matter.
Muse, you got to play the bit. Come on, man. You were right there with me on the Maction thing, and you totally whiffed on the second. That's okay. I was getting to the presidency. But yes, was a presidential election, so Pluckers Trivia, president-themed.
Okay.
How you feeling about this?
This could go well. It could go really bad depending on what era we're going in there.
Well, what does that mean?
Like pre-World War I, outside of...
So it's like the Founding Fathers, and then you pick up with like FDR.
I'm there with Lincoln. I'm there with Lincoln. That's the 1860s. So there with Lincoln.
So the Founding Fathers, Lincoln because everybody knows Lincoln.
Right.
And then it's like post-World War II.
No, like you can get me. I said up until World War I. You can get me some stuff in World War I. Not. I like World War II more, so it's not. I'm not really that plugged in there. But yeah, and then I probably go into a little bit of a black hole there until the 80s again with presidents. So, I mean, everybody knows Reagan, and then HW.
Weren't you a history minor?
Yeah, and you know what, man? I've forgotten a lot of it. But I still do love history.
Ooh. I feel like you've leaned on that history minor a few times here, and you are terrible at all the history questions.
Been a while. It's just been a while. I don't read history as much as I used to either. It's just not.
All right. Who was the first natural-born American to become president in 1837?
Oh, see, now we're getting there before Lincoln there. I don't know who the president was in 1837. I don't know.
Want to take a guess? You got a whole bunch of people to choose from.
I know. 47 of them now.
Can you name a president in the 1800s before Lincoln?
And on the spot, that's why this is so difficult.
That's really not that hard. Anyway, the answer was Martin Van Buren.
I've heard of him.
Of course, because we were a new nation, and then you could be a natural-born citizen unless you were born until 1776.
Bunch of English guys there, right? Yeah.
Or other parts.
Yeah.
You don't have to have been from England. It was a new world. People came from all over.
Sure, it was.
From the Far East, everywhere. Okay, 0 for 1. In March of 1993, which president signed the Motor Voter Bill, allowing citizens to register to vote when applying for a driver's license to ease voter registration?
That's Clinton, yeah?
That is Bill Clinton, 1993. There we go. Who is credited with saying, Americans will go across an ocean to fight a war, but not across the street to vote?
I've heard that quote. Why'd that get lower? I've heard that quote. Americans will go across the ocean to fight a war, but not across the street to vote. How about we go
Very
with...
well known. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no. Go ahead. You're about to speak. Go ahead. Let's see what you... What was that? Very well known.
You were about to give an answer.
Well, I was, but you piqued my interest there. How about...
Show into 6.
Yeah, it's 4:42.
Okay.
We got time. See, you derailed my train of thought now.
You just give your wrong answer so we can move on. We could hit the buzzer and you could be wrong again.
All right, we'll go with John F. Kennedy.
I know, it was Bill Vaughn, a very well-known columnist. Bill Vaughn is the one who wrote that Americans would go across the ocean to fight a war, but wouldn't go across the street.
So it wasn't even a president.
We were talking about electing a president, voting. There we go. William E. Vaughn. He was related to Rick Vaughn.
I don't think that he was related to Rick Vaughn.
Can't prove that.
No, I guess I can't, but can you prove that he was?
Don't need to.
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason.
California Penal League. This is the California Penal League, Vaughn. Wear sleeves and caps in this league. Oh, so good. You're a hell of a pitcher, not much of a dresser. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you want to buy land, not caps or sleeves, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. Firstsouthland.com. In any of the 50 states from where any number of presidents Muse has never heard of might hail. First South Farm Credit. Yes, here in Louisiana. Do you know the only president from the state of Louisiana? Muse? Do you know the only president from the state of Louisiana?
He didn't come out of Louisiana, though, did he? He ran out of Louisiana?
One.
Ah, God.
There's one. Zachary Taylor. All good.
Okay, yeah, no.
All right, go ahead, history minor, a little bit.
Been a while.
Yeah, firstsouthland.com. Firstsouthland.com. Paul, do you know anything about American history? You at all historical about our country? No?
No, not really.
Hey, tell you what, just go buy some land. Do that. First South Farm Credit can help. Firstsouthland.com. Huh. All right. You know the whole thing about, like, all the presidents that were elected in years ending in 0 either died or were assassinated, starting with Lincoln? Ever heard of that?
No, but now that I think about it, that's...
All the way up until 1980, which was Ronald Reagan, who was shot.
Shot at, yeah, shot.
Wasn't shot at. He was shot, but survived. And then Bush, of course, Bush 43, which was not shot. So that was the one that sort of broke the streak.
Wasn't Reagan shot at again, though, and they missed?
He was shot on the street.
I know that one, but I'm pretty sure he was shot at again and was missed.
God bless him.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous job.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, there's only
politics in general.
There's only been 46 of those dudes in the history of the world, and I would say your survival rate is probably the lowest in that job relative to any other job in the world.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
What's that percentage? Let's look that up. How many presidents have died in office?
Like in office or were assassins? I mean, like
while you're in office.
Okay.
Yeah, while you're in office. Who are you thinking?
Well, I was going to say Roosevelt died in office, but that was during his fourth term.
It doesn't matter if you're assassinated or died in office.
Okay.
I'm just curious how many have died in office. Like William Henry Harrison, shortest term president ever. He was like 16 days or something like that. He gave the longest inauguration address. He got pneumonia and died. How much would that suck?
That's tough.
Boy,
yeah.
that's
being dealt a tough hand, man.
I mean,
yeah.
Mike, but you know what? It's your fault. It's freezing out there. Get your ass inside. What are you doing? What you got?
8 presidents have died in office. Some were assassinated and the others by natural causes.
I'll see how many I can name after the break. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, actionindinc.com, actionindinc.com for Action Industries Incorporated. Hey, check out our friends over at Action Industries. They have been servicing the petrochemical refinery market since 1982, y'all, 42 years. That was 2 years after Reagan was elected the first time use, and 2 years before Reagan was elected for the second time use. Action Industries, check them out. By the way, they not only, of course, it's turnaround season, a lot of you know that, but over at Action Industries, they also offer fabrication shop services. So they offer things like food grade fabrication. They work with one of the largest coffee brands in the world. And also, if you need additional resources on your job, maybe due to a shortage of skilled labor, they can help supplement. You have these mega projects going on and you need supplemental labor. Action Industries can help there as well. So give them a shout. 2 locations. Belrose, and then Highway 30, Geismar, and online at actionindinc.com, actionindinc.com for Action Industries Incorporated. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Russ Mitchell will be with us here in about 25 minutes from right now. Excited to have Russ. We will preview LSU-Alabama. See what direction Russ is leaning in that one. I don't know where he's going. I think Russ is probably going to be very bitterly disappointed that LSU lost to Texas A&M, so he's going to pick Alabama. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, we got to go to Tigers and the Pros, but all right, Muse, before we went to break, we did Pluckers Trivia in the last segment, and we were talking about presidents that died in office, and you told us there were 8.
8 of them, yes.
Okay, so I used the break. I got my thoughts together. And I think I nailed 7 of the 8. I am supremely confident.
Okay.
There's one I'm a little unsure about, but I think I nailed this. So there were 4 that were assassinated, and I have these. It's Lincoln, Warren G. Harding, William McKinley, and JFK. Okay, so those are the 4 that were assassinated.
Yes.
And I think wasn't William McKinley assassinated on a train or something like that?
Wait a minute. You said William McKinley, Harding, Kennedy,
and Lincoln.
Yes.
Those are the 4 that were assassinated. Right? I don't think any other. There's others that have died in office.
Hold on.
So William Henry Harrison died in office of pneumonia. He got pneumonia whenever I talked about it. He was the shortest tenured president. James Garfield died in office as well.
Harding was not shot.
How did Harding die?
Harding had a heart attack.
Oh, Garfield was assassinated. Garfield was the assassinated president. Okay, I knew Harding died. I flipped those. Okay, so Garfield I knew died. So Garfield was the other one was assassinated. Check me, see if McKinley was assassinated on a train. I don't know why that's sticking in my head. Okay, so I wrote them down. So Garfield was it was Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, and JFK were the 4 that were assassinated.
Correct.
Harding died. How did Harding die?
Harding was assassinated. Harding had a heart attack.
Heart attack. Okay. When William Henry Harrison had pneumonia, we talked about him.
We did.
So I've got 6.
You're missing 2.
The FDR.
Now you're missing
7.
1.
So this is the one that I wasn't sure. And I think I got it because I think I already said his name to you. Oh, did I do it?
Well, you got to say his name. We said a lot of presidents' names.
It was Zachary Taylor.
It was Zachary Taylor.
Who was, of course, a Civil War general. And you know what's interesting story about Zachary Taylor? I mean, up all your time. This is an So here's an interesting story about Zachary Taylor. When he was at his home in Louisiana, obviously there was presidential, there was no TV or radio or anything like that. So the way that he was notified that he had won was at a mail carrier, someone send him the letter notifying him of the results. Well,
that's sick. Can you imagine just getting a letter in the
Hey,
mail?
you're
You're the president of the United States. Congratulations.
Well, it came, I don't know the terms, like if it was certified or something, to where he would have had to pay the freight, and he wouldn't pay the freight, so he sent it back.
I like it.
And made them, so this was him notifying that he was winning the presidency. And he sent it back. He's like, no, make them pay for it, and then send it back to me.
I'm not paying that crap. Get out of here.
I'll find out if I won the presidency another time or something like that.
I fought a war. I shouldn't have to pay for my mail.
You can check me on that. You can fact check me on that one with Taylor. But he was Civil War general, and I'm almost positive that's the story about Taylor. Whenever he was when he was elected, he sent the thing back to make them pay for it when he got. I'll tell you what a different time in the world, right?
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, my goodness.
He was a major general in the Mexican-American War. He died in 1850 before the Civil War.
So before the Civil War. Okay, I knew he was a general, though. But Louisiana, right? Zachary Taylor's the only president from Louisiana.
Oh, hold on. We don't have time. I got 10 seconds. I'm trying to read it.
This is a sports show, Muse. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Dragging me down this history black hole or whatever it may be. All right, stay here, Taylor.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Locations all over Louisiana, South Louisiana. So shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com or schedule your service online at ShawbillsTire.com. We'll continue to shout out Miss Beth Barron over at Shawbills. So happy for their success. Named the Modern Tire Dealer of the Year. That's of all the tire dealers in the entire country. This national publication named Miss Beth Barron over at Shawbills the Modern Tire Dealer of the Year because of their commitment to get you name brand tires at wholesale prices and to treat you like family. It sounds so simple, but it's hard to execute unless you just do the right thing, and that's what you're committed to. That's what Shawbills always does. You walk in any Shawbills, you'll see the Customer Bill of Rights posted not only on their website, but in every single Shawbills location. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they keep you coming back because they treat you like family. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Browns general manager Andrew Berry today took questions from the media for the first time since training camp. The majority of the questions were about quarterback Deshaun Watson, who struggled mightily this season before suffering a season-ending Achilles tear in Week 7. Regarding Watson's status with the organization, Berry was non-committal.
Our focus with Deshaun, I would say for any player with a season-ending injury and a major injury, is first and foremost with the recovery and to make sure that he gets healthy from the Achilles injury. Everything else we'll deal with at a later moment.
Browns still owe Watson $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons, and his cap hits are immense. Panthers will start quarterback Bryce Young Sunday against the Giants in Germany. College basketball, Rutgers star freshman Ace Bailey out tonight against Wagner with an injury suffered at practice on Monday. NBA, Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown out a 3rd consecutive game against the Warriors tonight due to a hip flexor strain. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN. That's followed by 76ers at the Clippers. NHL Oilers captain Connor McDavid back from an ankle injury against Vegas tonight. He's been out the last 3 games.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times where you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Always someone out there trying to get one over on you, Muse.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Who is it now?
Matt C. Kate Price.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Zachary Taylor isn't from Louisiana. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He was born in Virginia.
It's hump day.
Lived in Baton Rouge.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ran for president representing Louisiana. He's a president from Louisiana.
It's hump day.
When you're in Congress, what do they say? The gentleman from Louisiana.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
The lady from Tennessee. He's from Louisiana.
It's hump day.
How many people listening to Muse you think would have gotten them 8 presidents that died in office like that?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Probably not many. You do have a pretty good spot for a president's there. We've done that before, I think.
And then here's Jonathan Carlin.
It's hump day.
Oh, there's only 45 presidents. Grover Cleveland had 2 separate terms separated by a loss.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
By the way, Jonathan, It's not two separate terms separated by loss. It's called he's the only president to serve non-consecutive terms, and everybody knows that about Grover Cleveland, especially because now it's happened for a second time. Cleveland did it in the late 1800s. I got my president knowledge.
Well, and they still get elected a new president.
It's hump day.
Like,
I got my presidential knowledge.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Don't y'all come at me.
Hump day.
I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Muse?
It's hump day.
I was going to say, and they get assigned a different number president. Like,
yes.
Donald Trump is not still the 45th president of the United States.
He's 45 and 47. The point he's making is when we were talking about, I think we were talking about the mortality rate of presidents. And so I said, there's 47 of these, and of the 8 have died. So what's that percentage? That's what started us down this road. If you're wondering why, it's hump day, Pluckers. We did Pluckers trivia. Obviously, the presidential election. So the trivia round at Pluckers that we were quizzing Muse on was all president related. And then it got us down this path. And Muse has kind of been quizzing me, or I quizzed myself on presidential trivia. I've done well. Objectively, I've done well. And just a couple of jokers over there, text line. One guy did reply back and say, I didn't know that about Zachary Taylor. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think it was Matt C.
Schooled.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, joker. All right. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Russ Mitchell in 10 minutes from right now. Always look forward to having Russ on the show. We'll recap last weekend, and I'll look ahead. Of course, LSU and Alabama, just a giant weekend as both LSU and Alabama. One of them is going to lose this weekend and will take their third conference loss, and whichever one does, in fact, lose and take the third conference loss is going to be in a world of hurt, and for all intents and purposes will be out of the college football playoff running. So we'll get to that with Russ here in just a quick second. So it's interesting. When Dennis Allen was fired, almost immediately the conversation shifts to, okay, well, who's going to be next? Now, Mickey Loomis on the Saints coaches show, Saints Hour is what they call it, was asked about the coaching search. This is number 4, if we could. Here was Mickey Loomis about sort of the timeline.
That's not something that we're going to be real active with right now. There's plenty of time for that when the season ends. Our focus has got to be on our team, our players, our coaches, our staff. And it's, you learn more about who you have and who the people are that you're working with in adversity than you do when things are going well.
I don't, I actually agree with him. I mean, you've still got 9 games to go in the season, right? So you're 2-7. I'm sorry, you got 10. You have 10 games to go. Forgive me. So you're 2-7 right now. So 10 games to go, and you're bye. You've got 11 weeks. I mean, you're not gonna start interviewing candidates until after the regular season. So you're not talking about until the beginning of January on that Black Monday when you even have the opportunity to start interviewing candidates whose seasons are over. So I'm okay not having any type of real formal answer about the process or who's next or what are you thinking. I'm certain they'll start doing their due diligence. They'll start vetting names to whatever degree you can. They'll get their list together. They'll talk to agents who might be interested. As you start to set up what those conversations, those interviews would look like at the end of the season when you start moving toward naming your the successor. But I was so interested when I saw this because I get a lot of things into my inbox, as you might imagine. Just when you, maybe you wouldn't know this, but so when you're on air or in the role as a program director, you get bombarded with information all the time and requests for people to be on air. A lot of times it's books or other things like that, but a lot of times it's different news and information aggregation services and whatnot that'll send you stuff. And this one came into my inbox, and it was really interesting because it was betonline.ag put this out, and it was the odds to be the next Saints head coach. the betting odds. And the favorite to be the next Saints head coach at minus 300, meaning you'd have to bet $300 to win 100, is Joe Brady. How about that? After Joe Brady is Ben Johnson, the OC of the Lions, followed by Todd Monken, of course, who had coached at Georgia and is now the OC of the Baltimore Ravens. Aaron Glenn, of the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, former Saints assistant. Mike Vrabel, Wes Phillips, Darren Rizzi, Bobby Slowick, Bill Belichick, Dion, Nick Saban, Brian Kelly. Some of the long shots on there. You get odds on almost anyone. But the names at the top of the list, I think, are the ones that are the interesting ones, because those are the ones that most people are going to consider when you're talking about who might be in line to be the next head coach. And from my perspective, I am very much interested in a young, offensive-minded coach. Now, listen, we got months to talk about who's going to be next. So I'm not trying to, plant my flag in the ground right now and say this is who it's got to be. I will tell you definitively, I think Ben Johnson is the guy everybody's going to want. Ben Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator of the Lions, had head coaching opportunities last year past to stay in Detroit. He's going to be able to pick his spot, which, like Jim Harbaugh did a year ago. Harbaugh every year flirted with the NFL, and he waited for the best opportunity and to go to L.A. in that organization where you had a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert and you had a top 5 pick where he was able to get a franchise left tackle. That was a very obvious situation for him to go. Ben Johnson is going to be able to pick the best opportunity, and I don't think that's in New Orleans. With a bad contract on an aging quarterback who's not going to be long for the organization, an awful cap situation. About the only thing you get in New Orleans is stability from ownership, or I should say patience from ownership. It's not going to be like one of those things in Carolina where you got a wackadoo billionaire owner who's firing dudes 6 games into the season just because he doesn't like the car they drive or something. I mean, I'm being facetious there. But in New Orleans, you're going to get at least an opportunity. Shoot, as patient as they were with Dennis Allen. But there's going to be better opportunities out there for Ben Johnson. Joe Brady would be interesting because he checks those boxes. He's a young, offensive-minded coach. He's been with the Saints organization. Remember, he came to LSU after 2 years with the Saints where he was an offensive assistant. Now, you talk to people around the Saints at that time, and he was like a coffee getter. That's what it wasn't like he was intricately involved. Ed Ogeron hired him because he had done time at Penn State under Joe Moorhead, and he was kind of the one who had maybe was given a little bit of credit for instituting that, the Taysom Hill package alongside Sean Payton back in that time, because of what they had learned and the system that they had run there at Penn State. And so Ed Ogeron saw him on a whiteboard one day whenever the Saints staff or the LSU coaches went to go learn from the Saints staff. They saw Joe Brady. That's kind of how the story goes. And he offered Joe an opportunity to come be what it was, the passing game coordinator or whatever it was at LSU, and he coached receivers. Well, we know what happened. After that, he went and became an OC at Carolina. Early in his second season as the OC at Carolina, he got fired. He lands at Buffalo as a quarterbacks coach, first time he'd ever coached quarterbacks, and then became the interim offensive coordinator, the full-time offensive coordinator in Buffalo, and he's done a nice job. I don't know that there's enough skins on the walls where I'd say that's the guy I'd want, but he checks the boxes of what I would want. Young, offensive-minded coach. I think preferably I'd rather see someone plucked from the Shanahan-McVay tree. That's why a guy like Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick, who's now in Houston with C.J. Stroud, that becomes a little more appealing. But there's a lot of people here who would really like the Joe Brady hire because of the affinity and ties to LSU. But I'll continue to go back and say it. I believe Joe Brady gets way more credit for 2019 than he deserves. That wasn't a Joe Brady offense. That was a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Clyde Edwards-Helaire offense. And Steve Ensminger is the guy that called all the plays and worked with the quarterbacks. Joe Brady worked with the receivers on that team. So while I think he's made a lot of it and probably matured a lot and got better as a coach, he's 35 years old right now, I think he gets way too much credit for what happened at LSU in 2019, more credit than he deserves. Steve Ensminger doesn't get enough credit for 2019. And I don't know that Joe Brady's ready to be a head coach in the NFL. But he does check the boxes of what you like to see or what I would like to see. If you're going from a retread, failed defensive coach, I want a young, offensive-minded coach sort of in the way of what's working right now and winning right now in the NFL. Maybe, just maybe, it'll be Joe Brady. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. Russ Mitchell's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I mean, how crazy is our weather, y'all? Got a friggin' named storm in the Gulf in November. Thankfully, it's not going to hit here. But before you know it, the 83, as we're looking at right now, 83 degrees, will turn into 38 degrees. And we'll be in the winter months, and you're going to be cranking up that heater every day. And I encourage you every day, before that cold weather comes, before you're cranking on that heater every day, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Get that heater safety check. Let one of their expertly trained technicians come to your home, check out your heater to make sure it's clean, it's tuned up for the coming cold weather so it runs efficiently. This will also extend the life of your heater, but most importantly, to make sure that it is safe to run through the cold weather months. You don't want it to be hazardous after it's dormant for months. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. Russ! Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
It's football! Rusty, come on up here. Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's fate. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
The only way you can point up is up.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
Just like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ.
All right. How are you?
Oh, kicking tires, lighting fires. They say there's a football game this weekend.
I've gotten to the bottom of Hatgate 2024, by the way. So we'll be talking here about Parish Construction and Roofing with Russ every week now. And I gave my bride your hat, your Parish Construction and Roofing hat, to mail last Wednesday. Made a note on my phone. Gave it to her last Wednesday. Wrote down your address. Said, please mail this to Russ. You don't have your hat on. I said, where's your hat? And you said some profane things at me and said you don't have a hat. I just texted Erica. I said, did you mail Russ's hat? She said, yes, I did on Monday. So I gave it to her last Wednesday. 5 days later, she got around to putting it in the mail, so it should be to you shortly anyway. So it's on. I did my job.
This sounds an awful lot like the excuses from the LSU Brain Trust after they couldn't stop Reed when he came into the game in the second half against Texas A&M.
It does sound a lot like that, actually. Yeah,
it does. By the way, did you say it's 85 degrees back home?
83, sunny and 83, and there's a storm in the Gulf.
Do you realize it's like 60 degrees here in the desert? And it's 85 degrees in Baton Rouge.
Oh, but it's a dry heat in the desert. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry cold.
It's a dry cold.
It's a dry cold.
Hey, you want to laugh at A&M with me?
I love all my children.
He can't even get it out.
It was interesting watching the Texas A&M game. It was almost as interesting as watching the first 5 offensive plays that Oklahoma had against South Carolina. But I can say that I was, like most people, a little startled by the lack of focus and motivation by the Aggies out there in Columbia.
Focus and motivation?
Focus, motivation.
Or are they just not very good?
I don't think Reed's very good. You know, I mean, they have a great stadium, and I mean, it's tough to play on the road, which we'll talk about in a sec. But, you know, and especially when you think about the playoffs and the rankings and the games we have this weekend. But and by the way, South Carolina's playing good football, right? I mean, LSU knows that. They played LSU down to the wire. They're playing good football with a very young quarterback and a lot of missing parts. Vanderbilt's playing good football. Do you realize both Vanderbilt and South Carolina play this weekend with non-losing records? Neither team has a losing SEC record in November.
I think it's an amazing testament to both those coaches that have done a really good job. And by the way, I think both those teams are going to end up getting the bowl eligibility. Who do you think, by the way, let's add Vanderbilt. South Carolina add Vanderbilt this week. Who do you like?
You know, I think that if you're looking at that game, you're looking at one key thing, and that's Vanderbilt's ability to extend plays on third down. They're third best. LSU's best, by the way. Vanderbilt's third best in the conference in conference play on extending third downs, on converting on third downs. Meanwhile, South Carolina's defense, third best at stopping teams from converting on third downs. So if you're watching anything in that game, it's when Vandy has the ball and it's a third down. Can they, you know, that's strength on strength, which wins.
Who do you think wins that game? South Carolina's a road favorite in that game too.
I know. I like Vandy simply because if I'm picking, I always take the older quarterback. A senior quarterback who's proven it against a freshman quarterback on the road, despite the success that Carolina's had, and I've been very impressed. I'm going to take Pavia.
Yeah, Vandy 6-3, South Carolina 1 win away from bowl eligibility at 5-3. So wild though, man. Like these are good football teams that are going to play in Nashville on Saturday.
Yeah.
What about Oklahoma? I don't. There's not much about last weekend to talk about. I mean, the A&M
I agree.
game was one to talk about, but other than that, it's looking. I want to make sure we spend our whole second segment on LSU and Alabama. There's also Ole Miss Georgia, which is a nice appetizer. But what about
and the
you?
playoff?
You wanted to. All right, you want to talk about the rankings? Go. I loathe. I don't even mention the rankings because it's so irrelevant. But I know you wanted to talk about it, so give me your thought.
Well, I'll just say, first of all, it's just so early. It's dumb. Second of all, you know, and I've been saying this for 25, 30 years. College football is such a great sport. There will always be controversy. It doesn't matter how many games there's a playoff. There'll always be reasons to debate and argue about who's better, who's got the better of this. The only thing I would say is, you know, you look at, there's a lot of people that are saying that the playoff should be 4 SEC teams and 4 big teams, and then all of the rest of the college football gets 4. That kind of scares me a little bit, even though I obviously love the SEC and follow the SEC specifically. I think it's dangerous to think that you're in an era where that, because again, these teams just play each other, so it's very difficult to determine how good the teams are outside of these conferences.
Well, I mean, I think the bigger question is, like, what happens in a year where, like, let's say you have an undefeated Clemson, undefeated Florida State out of the ACC. Shouldn't both of them have an opportunity or a one loss? I mean, I think there is a possibility of that happening in other years. And by the way, Russ, there's years. I mean, I've referenced this 2014 and 2015 in the 14 playoff. In those 2 seasons, if you had a 12-team playoff in those 2 seasons, the SEC would have had one team those 2 years. Alabama would have been the only team in the top 12.
I'll give you a perfect example. LSU and Alabama play this weekend. The winner is going to jump SMU. Now, I think if you put SMU on the field with either LSU or Alabama, the SEC school is going to win 8 out of 10, maybe even more, but let's just say 8 out of 10.
Okay.
But, you know, that would be the 4th SEC team getting in. It's just, you again run the risk of these situations where, because all of the SEC teams play each other and all of the Big Ten teams play each other, then you run in a situation where, like in Indiana or an SMU, or how do they, well, Indiana's in the Big Ten, but how do these schools outside of the Big Ten that exceed their expectations, how can they compete and get those spots if we are automatically limiting them to 33% of the pool?
Yeah, I don't care.
Even less, only 3 spots, because one of them has to go to the group of 5.
Yeah, the G5 can go kick rocks. Like, get them out of here altogether. I don't care.
I'm not complaining. I'm glad we have the 12-team playoff. I've been waiting a long time for this. I can't wait for I'm even more excited about the home games.
Yeah,
you know, the first round with the home games. I've been praying for this and preaching this for so long. I can't wait to that first round of the playoffs. I think they should do the same thing in the second round, honestly, but in the quarterfinal. But we'll see.
They got too much money tied up in those bowl sites, man.
I know. The private promoters.
If they can ever figure out the money component of that, then they could move it away. But as long as they have those sponsor dollars, the TV dollars, everything tied up in those bowl games, those aren't going anywhere. But like you said, this is a good compromise because, look, the BCS was a compromise to get to 2. 4 was a compromise. You know, the CFP4 was a compromise to get there. Like, you're taking the steps in the right direction, and eventually it'll get there.
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, what's going to happen is people are going to see these games. They're going to see how phenomenal these home games are in the playoff, and they're going to look at each other and be like, come on, man, we need another weekend of this. We need another weekend where the teams that won their conference, they get to host a home game too.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
And what you want to have happen is you want to make sure that the playoff delivers, right? That we don't have just blowouts and you have good games. But I think in the 5 through 12, you are going to have great games. You're going to have a lot of teams that it's very hard. It's going to be splitting hairs deciphering the difference in those teams. I think you are going to end up with amazing games on campus in that first round.
Which will add even more significance to the games in November. that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Because if you play some crappy team on your schedule, you could drop and suddenly you're playing a road game instead of a home game. If you win that last conference or that last game, it bumps you up into the home round. I mean, there's so much excitement.
You told me you had one line on Oklahoma, Missouri. What is it?
I did. I suppose if I've got one line, it's Missouri only has 2 legitimate road games, and they lost them both. They got blown out in both of those games. They allowed their opponent to take off. They're playing at home. As long as Cook is good, I like Missouri to come off, but we'll see. I think that Eli's going to wait to the last minute to say if he's healthy.
Under the Jim Mora gift, you put, can do one sentence on OU versus Missouri as well. So I was giving you your one sentence. All right.
Thank you.
It's after further review. Russ is with us, courtesy of Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, parishbuilt.com. Quick break, come back. We'll talk Ole Miss, Georgia briefly, and then it's LSU-Bama on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. You know where to find them, agent225.com, agent225.com. If you're thinking about selling your home, call the realtor that literally sells more homes than anyone. That's Darren James, Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. This is just listed in Zachary on acreage. What a gorgeous home this is. You can go check it out, agent225.com. Darren's got it listed on his Facebook page as well. Large home, 85% remodel completed. A beautiful, large, nice lot in a quiet neighborhood. Right there, you can check it out at agent225.com or on Darren's Facebook page. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Or you can always call Darren on his cell at 335-7666. 335-7666. Need to sell your home? Need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Russ Mitchell's with us at Russ Mitchell CFB. Before we get to LSU-Bama, the appetizer is Ole Miss, Georgia. Man, wouldn't it be something if Georgia got hung a second L right here that would certainly shake up the national race? Can Ole Miss do it there in Oxford?
Yeah, I'm picking Ole Miss.
Are you? Okay. Yeah, wow.
Mark the tape, Moose. I think this is clearly a quarterback, Carson Beck, that's regressed this season, continues to regress. Georgia's 12th in the conference in conference play, 12th in turnover margin. Mississippi, by the way, is 3rd. Not only has their defense been taking the ball away well, their offense has been holding onto the ball fairly well. So, I mean, this is an opportunity. Plus, as we talked about, and we saw it again last weekend against Florida, other than 3 second halves, this is a Georgia team that plays down or to the level of their opponents, right? So if they struggle, other than Clemson second half, Bama second half, and they played well in the Texas game, but Texas second half where they dominated, this is a Georgia team that has played inconsistently without confidence. So if they can get, they don't need 3 turnovers, but if they get 1 or 2 interceptions from Carson Beck in the first half, and they can run up a first half score like they did against Arkansas in Arkansas, 35-10, I don't think, particularly given neither of these two teams can run the ball well, they're both in the bottom of the conference in rushing offense. I think that this will come down to passing, and Ole Miss leads the conference number 1 in 30 yards from scrimmage, 40 yards from scrimmage, 50 yards from scrimmage, 60 yards from scrimmage. This is not a good matchup on the road for this Georgia team. I think they fall behind early, and Ole Miss wins it.
Interesting. Okay. Ole Miss offensively has only scored 30 in a conference game once. It was against Arkansas this past weekend. No concern that Georgia's defense does what LSU and South Carolina and Tennessee and everyone else has done. Yeah. Kentucky.
Again, in conference play, this is a Ole Miss offense that leads the conference in 30-plus yards from scrimmage, 40-plus yards from scrimmage, plays of 50-plus yards from scrimmage, and 60. Given the turnover problems and Georgia's inconsistency with playing opponents and not getting up, not playing like they have the last few years, I think that Ole Miss's offense will be able to execute at home, jump up early, and hold on for the win.
All right. I disagree with you, so we'll go head-to-head on that one. I think Georgia's
mark the tape.
Georgia's defense. Muse, mark the tape. Georgia's
mark
defense.
The tape.
Georgia's defense, dog. When they locked in, you're right about playing down to the level of their opponent. You're right about that. You go on the road against Ole Miss, I think they're going to be locked in, man. We'll see. It'll be interesting. All right, LSU-Bama. Loser, 3rd loss, out of the playoff running. What do you think's the biggest key? Which side of the ball?
I mean, I think there's you're looking at 3 things in this game. First, the biggest key, obviously, without a doubt, is whether or not LSU can stop a mobile quarterback. They couldn't do it with Reed, which was just unconscionable, especially after we saw in Columbia last weekend. It just makes it even more egregious that LSU was unable to stop Reed, particularly, again, coming off of the Taylor Green performance the week before and how they were able to stop him. Look, This is a Milroe. This is a quarterback for Alabama who is a running quarterback. All right? He's a running quarterback. You say he's got a great arm. He uses his running game to open up his passing game. Right now, if you take all the running backs in the SEC, Milroe is ranked 20th against all the running backs in the SEC. He's ranked 20th. He's 12th in the SEC in SEC games in rushing attempts per game. He leads the team of Alabama in rushing attempts per SEC game. He's averaging 13 per game.
That's a crazy number.
Jam Miller only has 9. So listen to me, please. Anybody that can hear my voice in the state of Louisiana, he's going to run the ball, and you have to stop that first, second, and third. If by doing that you give up an 80-yard pass play for a touchdown, so be it. So be it. If you stop the run, you can win this game. If you don't stop the run, they will tear you apart. That's the first thing. So your thoughts on that?
Oh, I agree. It's the single biggest question in the game. I mean, Jalen Milroe ran for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns against you last year. If you don't stop him from running, you can't win the game.
The only quarterback in the SEC that has more rushing attempts per game is Pavia at Vanderbilt, and they run a wishbone. So, he's their leading rusher in attempts per game.
All right.
Second thing, we've talked about their lack of discipline all season long. We've really seen it on the road. Penalties, tons of penalties, and not penalties from aggression. We've talked about this with your audience for years. I love penalties that are brought on by aggression. I think that's fabulous. But penalties from lack of discipline, not so much. And that's what we've seen. We saw it in Tennessee throughout the game, including Law's shove at the end, which was also unconscionable. But that sort of undisciplined play, are we going to see it again on the road in Baton Rouge? And
why not? That's what they are.
I think we will. That's who they are. We're in November. They're not going to change. If they're worried about tucking their shirts in and they come to Baton Rouge, which is going to have an audience better, an environment better than what we saw in Kyle Field a couple weeks ago, hey, worry about tucking in your shirt, buddy. So I think that discipline is going to be a key issue here, and LSU has to maintain their discipline, and they must find some sort of balance in the rushing offense. 24 yards on 23 carries is not going to cut it against this Alabama team. Their defense is ranked 12th in the SEC. 12th. This isn't your Saban defense. Their defense is ranked 12th. You got to run the ball on this team. You need at least 2.5 yards a carry, and stick with it. It will pay off at the end, and that's how you walk away with the W and get a playoff spot.
So
I like LSU in this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, why?
Because I think that I nearly said we. I believe that Alabama is undisciplined. And I believe that and they don't have the talent that they've had in the past, and they don't have the defenses that they've had in the past. Their defenses give up too many big plays. They're too undisciplined. I think LSU's offense with Nussmeier will be able to get some of those key plays. I don't have faith in LSU's ability to shut down Milroe, but I do have faith in LSU's ability to do better than they did against Reed. And at home, that makes the difference. I like LSU by 3.
Okay. Going with the Tigers. Well, if LSU beats Alabama, Russell, Monday right here is going to be a lot of fun at 3 o'clock. Trust you me, friend. We are going to have us a day on Monday when Alabama has their 3rd loss hung on them by the Fighting Tigers of LSU.
Will there be some flames behind you, maybe?
Oh, flames, oh, Fortuna. There will be more. Better believe it. There will be more.
Maybe you should bring the hibachi in.
Get a hibachi chef.
Just put it on the desk right there, hibachi.
I need to call Ronnie and Patrick over at Ichiban. Get them to bring a hibachi chef over here into the studio. Just cook up some hibachi, some pork fried rice and everything like that. That'd be great. Be a good time. All right, so you like LSU to beat Alabama, but it's so interesting just how different it feels this week. I've been talking to a lot of people. T-Bob and I recorded Scone and T earlier today. We had this conversation as well, a little bit of a tease, but it just feels so different this year. Like when you're around town and it's a big game and you can feel it all week and it's just this palpable emotion everywhere you go. It doesn't feel like that this week here. It just feels like it's a big game. It's just another big game. It's just the Saban factor, man. Him being gone just changes everything, Russ. It just does. Psychologically, it changes everything about this.
Interesting. So you're talking about not even the fact that there's a 12-team playoff, which makes it easier to get in. You're not talking about it from that perspective. No. You're just saying not having the devil on the other sideline makes it less stressful, less anxious, or less. I think the meaningful.
There's tons of meaning. It should be. It's Alabama. You're coming off a bye. Both teams have 2 losses. The loser, for all intents and purposes, is out of the playoff conversation. It's a massive football game, but I'm saying it's a massive football game because of that net effect, not because of the uniform on the other sideline, which has been the case ever since he went there in 2007. And it's the first time he's not there. And you look across the field and you're going to see Kalen DeBoer. And that's dramatically less intimidating. Thinking about trying to scheme against Kane Womack's defense instead of Nick Saban's defense, a defense that we saw Vanderbilt score 40 points against. You're damn right. Like, it's different this week. The Ole Miss week, the vibes were immaculate in this town all week. You knew it was going to be something. And it's going to be by the time 6:30 Saturday comes and they tee it up and kick it off. And it's still going to be that uniform and it's going to be the band with Yay Alabama and Big Al and all that stuff. But it's just different, man.
It's interesting because on the sideline. Yeah, so you're saying it's the evil empire is not on the other side of the field. And the stormtrooper jersey uniforms and like what you saw in the Star Wars is not on the other side. Yeah, but then that should make you more excited because you have an improved chance. It should make you more excited going into the game. It shouldn't decrease the buildup leading up into the game. Man, interesting.
For 17 years, it felt like you needed a Herculean effort to beat them. Now it just feels like LSU just needs to go play a clean game on Saturday, and they should win in Tiger Stadium. That's how it feels.
Yes.
If they play a clean game, they should win.
Because it's true. All you need to do is play a clean game, and LSU wins.
See if they can do it. Russ Mitchell, our chat's courtesy of Parrish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. You'll have a hat by next week. My wife said she mailed it Monday, so it'll be there Monday. Or it'll be there maybe tomorrow, hopefully. All right, thank you. Have a great weekend.
See you later. Go Tigers.
I love it so much. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Hey, we got a storm coming in November. Hard to believe. It looks like it's going to go to Mexico and avoid us here, which is great news. But as always, it's not if, it's when. It's not if your power is going to go out. It's when your power is going to go out. That's why you need a Generac automatic home standby generator. That's why you need the Generator People. That's why you need Optimize. Remember, turnkey installation, price quote guarantee. The price they quote you is the price you pay. And then always low financing options. $600 down payment, financing to meet any budget so you stay in control of your finances. You can do this. It's Optimized. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Autolocks. By the way, Autolocks are posted at LouisianaSports.net. If you want to get them there, you can. It's AFR.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel, the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Hey, you can always get on by and see our friends over at the Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet, across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. Beautiful, sprawling hotel, easy access to I-10. You can get anywhere in town, right, with access to I-10 or Perkins Road. You know where the Renaissance is. And most importantly, you got family coming in town for the game. family coming to town for the holidays, you can always tell them to go book a room at the Renaissance. Conveniently located, shopping right there, Mall Louisiana, Perkins Row, restaurants, Tallulah right there in the Renaissance Hotel. But remember, if you're here in town or in this area and you need a place for an event, start with the Renaissance Hotel. Call them first. Call Allison over at the Renaissance Hotel. Tell them I told you to call her. You will be amazed at the lengths they will go to manipulate their space to fit your event, no matter what size it is. They work with you. They're in the business of saying yes. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. Trivia tonight, 8:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. All right, time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, man. How about you, buddy?
Doing well, man. Good time, good night, lots of sports, NBA slate, college football, ton going on, man. What are we looking at?
Well, college hoops as well, and
yeah.
We got to let them. It's a little early for us, but we'll be back at college basketball again this year. Hopefully, we'll have a repeat of performance. It'll be tough, but
man, last year was just a heat check all season long for the Otter college basketball. You were in Fuego last year.
It was good. It was good. There's no doubt. Hey, tonight in Action first, I think both of these games are going at 6 o'clock. Western Michigan 4-0 in conference. Northern Illinois has really kind of, and they're still celebrating that Notre Dame win. They're 1-3 in the MAC.
Ooh.
And man, that just makes that loss that much worse if they didn't have that A&M win on the road. But anyway, we're going to take the points at home. You know, sometimes when teams kind of get going, and it's obvious, you know, that was the apex of Northern Illinois' season. But we'll take the team with a 3-game lead in the MAC, catching 2 at home in the first of these.
All right, Western Michigan, and then Ohio, Kent State.
Yes, Ohio U, Kent State's trash. Let's not try and break it. Kent State, my buddy Chris Andrews, we don't want to talk about a great book, Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas. He said this was the lowest power rating he's ever placed on a team this year, Kent State.
Wow.
Remember they played in Tennessee this year. Tennessee off to do running clock at half. They
1 minute remaining.
So anyway, we're going with laying the points. Approach safely, though, cautiously, though. But we're going to lay the points against Kent State. And then also, Matt, Boston. Remember the Olympic team? Remember the notable who wasn't getting a whole lot of playing time?
Jason Tatum. Yeah.
Well, they got Golden State tonight. I wish Jaylen Brown was playing tonight as well. But I like the Celtics minus the 6.5 in that locker room. They want a piece of Steve Kerr. And then Jason Tatum, points, rebounds, and assists over 45 combined.
By the way, DraftKings has Boston minus 6. So
okay, even better.
Better price if you want to get it there. All right, Western Michigan, Ohio U, the Boston Celtics, and Jason Tatum over 45 points, rebounds, and assists. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We're downtown, Jolie Pearl, getting ready for LSU and Bama as the fans start to roll on in.
Awesome spot. Have a great night. Good luck. We appreciate it.
Good luck, Matt.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, might be shopping for a new vehicle, this is the time, y'all. Every year, Sign Then Drive rolls around. And every year I tell you, it's the best deal of the year and the best time of the year to check out South Point Volkswagen, because when Sign Then Drive rolls around, it's this easy. 0 down, 0 due at signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. You sign your name and you drive away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen. You can check out all the deets at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Atlas, Cross Sport, Tiguan, check it all out. Shop the inventory. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink, or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.